In this video, I will show you 10 amazing traps in the Danish gambit that you can use to trick your opponents and win more games. So let's move on to our first trap. So after e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, c3, black takes and then you go bishop c4. Black takes this pawn as well and then you go bishop takes b2. And here black goes knight to f6. You play e5. Now black have only two options, either to play knight to g8 or play knight to e4. Going back will be just a waste of a move, so he plays knight to e4, centralizing his knight, and then you shock him with bishop takes f7 check. Now king have to take, and then you go queen to d5 check, forking the king and the knight, and after king moves, you can take this knight. Let's move on to our next trap. Here, after bishop takes b2, black goes d6. And here, you are going to play e5. The best move for black is to play knight to c6. But thousands of players have gone d takes e5. But then you can shock him with bishop takes f7 check. He cannot take because his queen will be hanging. Therefore, he goes king to e7. Then you can play bishop to e3 check, forcing this king to move. And then you can just take his queen and you are completely winning. Let's move on to our next trap. Here after bishop takes b2, black goes queen to g5, attacking this g2 pawn. But you are going to completely ignore this and play knight to f3. Black happily takes this pawn and then you go rook to g1, attacking this queen. Now the queen have only one option, which is queen to h3. But then you can play bishop takes f7 check, sacrificing the bishop. He cannot take, otherwise knight to g5, forking the king and the queen. So here he goes king to d8. Then you play rook takes g7. If he takes with the bishop, then you can take with the bishop and then take his rook as well. And also, his knight is also attacked twice. So let's say he moves his knight to e7. Then you can just play rook to g3, which is a double attack on the queen and the rook. And you will be up in material and completely winning. Let's move on to our next trap. Here after bishop takes b2, black goes bishop to b4 check. This is a common move in the Danish gambit. You play knight to c3, blocking the check. Knight f6 is a common move. You play knight to e2, gambiting this pawn. Black takes this pawn and then you go short castle. And here, white goes knight takes c3. We recapture and after takes, your bishops are active along this diagonal and you are also hitting the g7 pawn. And here you are also threatening to play rook e1 check. Therefore, he goes short castle. But this is a big blunder because you can play queen to g4, threatening mate in 1. He cannot play f6 because his pawn is pinned to the king. So he have to play g6. But then you can just play queen to d4 and it's mate in 2 after queen blocks. You take the queen and after something like rook here, you can checkmate him. Let's move on to our next trap. Here after bishop takes b2, black goes d6, you play knight f3. And here black goes bishop to g4, pinning your knight to the queen. But you can shock him with this amazing move, bishop takes f7 check, sacrificing the bishop. Now king have to take and then you go knight to e5 check. He cannot take with the pawn because his queen will be hanging, so he have to move his king away and then you can just take this bishop and you are just completely winning. Let's move on to our next trap. Here after bishop takes b2, black goes knight c6. You play knight f3, knight f6, or common move. Here you play e5, attacking this knight. And here black goes knight e4. Then you play bishop takes f7 check, sacrificing the bishop. And after king takes, you play queen d5 check, forking the king and the knight. And after king moves, you can take this knight and you are completely winning. Let's move on to our next trap. Here after bishop takes b2, black straight away goes bishop to b4 check. Then you play knight to d2, black goes knight f6, then you go e5, attacking this knight. Knight e4 is a good option for black, putting pressure on its knight. But then you go with this amazing move, bishop takes f7 check, sacrificing the bishop. First, if he takes this bishop, then you can just play queen to b3 check, and after king moves, you can take this bishop. But here, if you place king to f8, then you can play bishop to a3, pinning his bishop to the king, so that if he takes with the knight, you can take with the queen. But what if he takes your bishop? Then you're going to take his knight, king takes bishop, and then you go queen to b3 check, poking the king and the bishop. And after king moves somewhere, you can just take the bishop and you are having a huge advantage. Let's move on to our next trap. So after bishop takes b2, here black goes d5. This is the selector defense. You take this pawn with the bishop. The best move for black is to play knight to f6. But here, so many players have gone c6, attacking the bishop. But this is a big blunder because you can play this amazing move, bishop takes f7 check. You cannot take because his queen will be hanging, so he goes king to e7. But then bishop to a3 check forces the king to move, and after king moves, you can take his queen and you are completely winning. Let's move on to our next trap. Here after d6, knight f3, black also have the option to play bishop to e6. This is one of the most common moves played by the black players. Here you play bishop takes e6, f takes e6, and then you go queen to b3, attacking the b7 pawn and also the e6 pawn. Here, queen to c8 seems like a natural move because it's defending that pawn and also defending b7 pawn as well. But then you go knight to g5, putting additional pressure on this pawn. And after king e7, defending this pawn, you can just play knight takes e6, and after queen takes, you can just take this pawn and this rook is completely trapped. So let's move on to our last trap. So here, after bishop to b4 check, you bluff with the knight, and then he goes knight to f6, attacking this pawn. You just play knight to f3, offering black to take this pawn. Black goes ahead, and then you castle here. Here, black goes knight takes d2, and then you play rook e1 check, and in between move bishop e7. Then you just take this knight with the queen, and after black castle, here you are going to sacrifice your rook, and after queen takes, you can play rook to e1, attacking the queen. Let's say he goes something like queen d6, offering a trade of queens. But then you are going to play queen to g5, threatening mate in 1. Let's say he goes queen g6, again offering a trade of queens. But this is a big blunder because you can play bishop takes f7 check. If he takes with the queen, then rook to e7 is over for black. So he have to take with the rook. But then you can play rook to e8 check. Rook blocks. Then you play rook takes f8. Now king is forced to take, and then you play queen d8 check. King goes down, and then knight to e5 is completely winning. Well, this is not the end. If you want to learn some more amazing chess traps like these, then you can check out this left playlist. And if you want to learn some chess openings, then you can check out this right playlist. And if you don't want to miss more amazing videos like these, then don't forget to subscribe.